I know I'm wearing the same outfit I wore yesterday, but who cares?
What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this?
Sup, B-Mouse, it's Forever Confused Emo, also known as Zach Howard, and today I'm doing another review. I've done reviews of Stranger Things Season 1, Young Justice Seasons 1 and 2. I'm not going to be doing a review of a TV show, or a movie, actually. I'm going to be doing a review of a book series called Heroes of Olympus by Rick Riordan, also known as Uncle Rick, if you're a fan of them. This is the second series in the whole continuation of the Percy Jackson kind of main series. So I'm going to explain the Heroes of Olympus books, their premise, and what I thought of each book individually. So yeah, the first book in this series is The Lost Hero, which introduces 3 new demigods into the mix. They include Jason Grace, Piper McLean, and Leo Valdez. This book is kind of the premise of all Heroes of Olympus. It starts 8 months after the last book in the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series, which is Battle of the Olympians, I think. I might be completely wrong in that regard. Titles are hard. So what this is about is it has a lot of people of color in these books. Most of the characters are people of color, and this book series is really, it's longer than the original Percy Jackson books. There's a lot of exposition. It's a journey. Okay, so you go on this journey with all the characters. So The Lost Hero introduces 3 new characters. The first one is Jason Grace, and I'm gonna explain what's on the back here. Jason has a problem. He doesn't remember anything before waking up in a bus full of kids on a field trip. Apparently, he has a girlfriend named Piper, and his best friend is a guy named Leo. They're all students at the Wilderness School, a boarding school for bad kids, as Leo puts it. What did Jason do to end up here? And where is he exactly? And where is here exactly? Jason doesn't know anything, except that everything seems very wrong. So the premise is that Jason Grace has forgotten his entire memory. Also, spoilers, I'll put that in the title anyway, that this is gonna be filled with spoilers about the books, just like the Young Justice review and just like the Stranger Things review. There's Piper and Leo, but the main character in this book is Jason Grace. And I'm not gonna give away his, godly parents, which is kind of the premise of all of these. They're demigods. But this book kind of starts it all off. It's not the shortest book in this series. The shortest book is actually the last one, and I finished that very quickly. Okay, so that's The Lost Hero. Next, what has happened technically in all this is Percy went missing, and no one can find him, so they go on this journey to try and find him, and this is in the Sun of Neptune. So this is all about Percy and how he ends up at a different camp other than Camp Half-Blood, known as Camp Jupiter, that Roman camp. That's why it's the Sun of Neptune instead of the Sun of Poseidon. That becomes a big thing in these books. The premise is Greek and Roman deities are kind of the same, and they're kind of clashing with each other. Greek moved over into Roman, and they're kind of clashing with each other, both of their sides. Percy is confused. When he awoke from his long sleep, he didn't know much more than his name. Somehow he has managed to make it to a camp for Half-Bloods, but it doesn't ring any bells with him. The only thing he can recall from his past is another name, Annabeth, which is the most adorable thing in this book, is that the only thing he remembers is his freaking girlfriend, which we have been shipping for so long, and it's so good. And introduces 2 new demigods known as Hazel Levesque, I forget, and Frank Zhang. 2 more people of color. Hazel is African American, and she's originally from Louisiana. And what happens is she was born in the 1930s and then died in the 1940s, but now she's back in the 2000s, and she doesn't really understand everything that's going on. So yeah, And then there's Frank Zhang. He is Asian, and we can't find out their godly parents as they go on. He doesn't really have a godly parent at the beginning, and then he does, which is a lot. So it's a little bit more fast-paced. They go on this journey to try and help the Roman camp. So yeah. And the next book is The Mark of Athena. This is probably well, it's not the longest book. The longest book is the fourth one. Mark of Athena is a lot to deal with. It's basically Annabeth is terrified. Just when she's about to be reunited with Percy, it looks like Camp Jupiter is planning for war. And that's only one of her worries. In her pocket, Annabeth carries a gift from her mother that came with an unearthing command. Follow the mark of Athena, avenge me. Annabeth already feels weighed down by the prophecy that will send 7 demigods on a quest to find and close the doors of death. Annabeth's biggest fear, though, is that Percy might have changed. What if he's now attached to Roman ways and he no longer needs his old friends? Okay, so this is the third book, Mark of Athena. It's all about Annabeth Chase. And basically, she ends up at Camp Jupiter because she's been looking for Percy for like 8 months and he's been missing. And basically, every book has a cliffhanger and it really pisses me off. This doesn't introduce any new heroes, but this brings them all together in kind of this big way. They're kind of all together, finally, and it's these 7 demigods on a quest to close doors of death. What's happening is the earth goddess Gaia, I think that's how you pronounce her name, it might be Gaia, but I don't know, I mean, that'd be funnier. She's basically rising up from her sleep, and basically the entire world is in peril, so these teenage demigods have to save the world. Again. And it's terrifying. But yeah, this book is really good. It does end on a really big cliffhanger, and I'm not gonna give it away, because these are intense cliffhangers, so I'll be like, I need more. Next, House of Hades, which is the longest book in this series. This begins directly at the end of the Mark of Athena. They all kind of begin at the end of each other, except for the Lost Hero and the Son of Neptune. Those aren't fully connected, but the rest of them are. So the end of each book is okay. So here's what it is. The demigod crew of the Argo II is standing at a crossroads. They could return home with the Athena Parthenos statue and try to stop Camp Half-Blood and Camp Jupiter from going to war. Or they can continue on their quest to find the House of Hades, where they might be able to open the doors of death, rescue their friends Percy and Annabeth from Tartarus if they have survived, and prevent monsters from being reincarnated in the mortal world. Whichever road they decide to take, they have to hurry, because time is running out. Gaia, the bloodthirsty Earth Mother, has set the date of August 1st for her rise to power. So all of these are kind of set in the premise of like a couple of months. So basically you're saying they're like, wait, what's happening? What year is it? Because I didn't know. These are basically all set right after Percy Jackson, which I think finished in 2010. So basically this is all happening in like 2011, 2012, and it's like, what? Like what? Well, if you do the math, the end of the Percy Jackson books is August 2010, because Percy's now 17, so yeah. So it's 8 months later, so it's April. So these start in April 2011, and they finish August 2011. And then there's the other book, Trials of Apollo, which I don't know when they're set, but they're set right after. So basically, I don't know what year it is, no one does. So, The House of Hades, it's a very intense book. This is like the darkest in the series. There's a lot of death, there's a lot of fighting, so it's a lot. It's really dark. And basically the entire time you're like rooting for people and you're like, please win, please, you're gonna be fine. But you don't know. You don't know. You keep on thinking they're gonna die. It's like freaking Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows all over again. So yeah, this book is pretty dark. It's very intense. I would say this is one of the most intense books I have ever read. other than Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows. And technically Percy Jackson, The Lost Olympian is also very intense because they're fighting a war. Here's something that is kind of annoying. The Blood of Olympus, which is the last book of the series, is the shortest book, and the war, like, ends in, like, 5 seconds. Like, you're sitting there, like, wait, when's the war? It's over in, like, 1 chapter. When The Last Olympian, the war is, like, practically the whole book. But then it's like, no, we're fine now. Let's just talk about Camp Half-Blood, being together, everyone's leaving, Nico, all of this stuff. Nico, D'Angelo, I will talk about all of the characters. But this is the war. This is when everything goes to shit. But yeah. So, each book is narrated, so I'm gonna explain how each of the books works. The Lost Hero is narrated by 3 people, Jason Grace, Piper McLean, and Leo Valdez. I'm gonna explain each character. So Jason Grace was cursed by the goddess Hera to forget everything and fight for her cause, which is basically the whole reason this is happening. So, Hera. Jason's like kind of this big like hero kind of guy, kind of like Superman, like a blonde Superman basically. Nothing you want to hear, but it happens. Piper McLean is Native American, which is really cool, and she finds out about her mom, and she's like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Why is she my mom? And she's like really pissed off, but she's like really cool. And you ship Jason and Piper the entire book, and it's like, these children need to freaking realize that they were meant for each other. So yeah, and then you have Leo Valdez, who is Hispanic, originally from Texas. So Leo is like really good with his hands, really good with tools. So yeah, The Lost Hero is basically their journey to figure out why Jason doesn't have his memories. And why everything has been changed and messed up and confused. So yeah, so that's basically the premise of this book. It basically starts off everything, it's the whole thing, it's all you need to know, and then I'm not gonna give away the ending. I'm not gonna give away any of the endings, but it's a good one. It's not as intense as the rest of them are. This is kind of like a little go-lucky book. It's kind of like, oh, they're just getting the memories back. But the rest of them are like, come on, you sons of and you're like rooting for them. Next, we have Son of Neptune, Percy Jackson's return to the books, finally. So yeah, and during The Lost Hero, you're like, wait, where's Percy? What's going on? Who are these new people? I don't like this. But then you end up loving them, and you're like, damn it, I do. And then there's Percy, who is completely deranged, and he's also lost his memory. So Hera's a bitch, and I'm gonna beat her. If you don't know which goddess Hera is, she's the wife of Zeus. So that's it. And in Roman, she's Juno, which is a great movie. I'm going off topic again. So the Son of Neptune is not really intense, but it's kind of like, Percy, I love you. Percy, I care about you. Percy, please win. I want you to be happy. Because you've, like, been dealing with him for the first 5 books, and you're like, what is wrong with you? Why would you do this to my baby? And all of this stuff. So, yeah, it's pretty much, it's not as intense, but it gets more intense as the series goes on. Mark of Athena is all about Annabeth, but it's narrated by 4 different demigods. And basically, they all come together, and they're all going to Greece. They go to Greece. No, they go Rome first, and then they go to Greece. Because that's how the books work. They're on journeys. And this one ends with the worst cliffhanger of all time. And you will be pissed off for the entire book. Because you'll be like, no. So it's basically very angsty. This entire book is very angsty. It's very angst, but it's very like, look at all this adorable coupley stuff. Annabeth and Percy, I want to die! Because they're adorable, and I hate them for being adorable. So yeah, it's good. It's a little bit more intense. It's kind of long, really. It's not the longest book of the series, but it's kind of like the second longest. In length, it's House of Hades, then Mark of Athena, then Blood of Olympus is the shortest, but I think the third is the Lost Hero, then the Son of Neptune, then Blood of Olympus. So that's how they are. So Mark of Athena is very, very journey, very story, a lot of exposition, a lot of details, and you're basically just reading this whole journey. It's pretty fun. And then you want to kill yourself because it's so annoying. It's just at the end you're like, are you kidding me, Rick? Are you kidding me, Uncle Rick? I told you not to do this to me. And that's how you feel. Then the House of Hades is very intense. I wouldn't recommend these books to like a 5-year-old if you're trying to teach them how to read, because it's a lot. I'd recommend Harry Potter to maybe a little kid, the oldest being 7, and then they grow up with them. Like, make them read a book every year so they know how much pain I had. Well, I didn't have that pain, but other people had. I want him to suffer. And then Percy Jackson is kind of a little bit more tweeny. And this one is more for teenagers. I'd recommend it more for teenagers because they're teenage demigods and you're kind of like, I couldn't deal with this. It's not really young adult, but it's almost. Like, it's not really young adult. I think that's more Trials of Apollo, really, but still. You kind of grow up with the books. Like, you kind of grow up with them. Like, when the first Percy Jackson book came out was 2005, so I was about 5, almost 6. So if I had grown up with these books, I can tell you I would have read every single one as soon as it came out, because these books are great. So House of Hades is intense. It's not really a journey. It's more of a, what the hell are you doing, you sons of bitches? Like, you're kind of like, come on, please win, no! And you get really pissed off most of it. And you get really upset, and you might start crying, because I did cry while reading this book. I think it was this book. Yeah, it was this book I did cry. I did cry a couple of times while reading this book, because it's so intense, and you're kind of like, come on, motherfucker. But yeah. And then Blood of Olympus is basically the whole war. It's basically when everything just goes, hits the fan. So yeah. Blood of Olympus. It's the shortest book in the series, which I find really confusing with books, that the shortest book of the series is usually the last one, which isn't the same with Harry Potter. Like, the shortest ones are the first ones, but Half-Blood Prince is pretty short, and the longest is the 5th book, and that's the same here. The longest one is the 4th one, the shortest one is the 5th one, so I'm like, what you doing, Uncle Rick? What you doing? I don't think he took anything from Harry Potter. I think he did give a shit. Which I wouldn't have cared. I would have been like, this is my book. This is mine. I can do what I want. So yeah, Blood of Olympus. It's the whole war. Everything's like, woo! And you're kind of like, please win. But a lot of stuff, like, it's a lot to do with, like, trying to follow the storyline, because it kind of switches places a couple of times, and you're kind of like, okay, where am I now? And you're kind of like, where, okay, there, and there. And this is the beginning of when Nico D'Angelo becomes, like, the most adorable child I've ever seen. And, oh, that did happen. Sorry, I'm reading it, and it's like, yeah, this did happen, and I was like, wow, they were right. Damn you, Uncle Rick, you're so smart. I hate you. So yeah, Blood of Olympus. It's the entire war. It's everything's gone. Whoo. My favorite characters have to be Nico D'Angelo is definitely my favorite, because He's adorable, and you do meet him in the original, so it's kind of like a tie-in. I love Frank. Frank is just a total goofball. Leo sometimes gets on my nerves, but I still love him, and I care so much about Hazel. I care for her so much, and she is everything to me. So that was my review of the Heroes of Olympus series. This should have been a little bit more, but you know, it's what I could do in the limited amount of time I had. Make sure you like this video if you like Heroes of Olympus, and if you want to see more reviews like this, like a review of Trials of Apollo when I get that done, or a review of the Magnus Chase books, or a review of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, which happened ages ago, or a TV show. I do some TV shows. I might finish Voltron soon. I'm only on season 2, because I've been obsessed with that 70s show, which I can do a review of that. I can do a review of that 70s show. So like this video if you want to see more reviews, subscribe for more content like this.
It's lit.
Ha! Gay!
2 shots of vodka.
I'm a mountain biking vampire witch from the future. Fuck my pussy with a rake, Mom.
Comment what videos I should make next. Follow the social media links below. And hit that notification bell because I'm making a video every day during the month of December. And this is my video for Monday, December 11th. I'm really happy I got this done. And you will see a new video on December 12th. So get ready for that.